Hi, and welcome back to the On the House podcast. I'm your host, Alex Berlin, and today I just want to do a little one-on-one time and talk about some of the standard features of our home. So to me, this is going to be kind of like a small, intimate tour of our homes, but without actually walking through the factory. To do that, I'm going to make you actually come here and see our production line tours, which you should do every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, except for holidays. So I'm just going to kind of walk through our standards list, which you can find online at www.rochesterhomesinc.com, and pick out a few things that make us different from either our competition in the factory built or pre-manufactured modular building setup, or what makes us different than a site builder as well. So I'll kind of pick on either one of those and talk about why we do it the way we do it. So first and foremost, I'll talk a little bit about how the building systems work, and this is what brings us a ton of efficiency. So if you were to walk out in the factory right now, you would see pre-assembly stations that are building certain components of a home, and then those components then go on to the assembly line. So in essence, I can build your floor, your walls, and the ceiling roof structure of your house all at the same time, and I can do that on jigs and fixtures that are designed to help our builders keep everything true, square, and within a certain tolerance of quality that we expect everyone to build to. And then once they're done with that component, it stages for a little while, and then it'll go on the assembly line. So it's a really quick process, but it's also a really efficient process, and it gives us the ability to buy certain lengths and widths of materials, to have everything kind of pre-cut and pre-ready. All the tools are at the ready, the station's at the ready, so that when a guy comes in and he's ready to start building, boom, he can start building. There's no tool rollout. There's no, hey, is there a storm cloud coming in? Can I really even get my job started? Or I better clean my tools up before the rain hits. It's all ready to rock under roof. So a lot of people will come in and they'll have this idea of like modular is custom. It can do everything. And it can, depending on what company you work with. But we specifically at Rochester Homes like to work within our systems to build you a customized floor plan that will do the best of both worlds. Will bring you a lot of efficiency and will also bring you a certain level of customization. So if you were to bring me a brand new plan, there's a good chance that it will fit within one of our systems, or I can value engineer it into one of our systems by making some small changes potentially to your floor plan and get you very, very close to your original plan, but something that's a little bit more cost effective to build in our systems. So our current systems is that we use 13-foot, 14-foot, and 15-foot wide modules in different combinations to come up with most floor plans. Now, the most cost-effective way to build any home, and specifically a modular home, would be a 2-module setup with a simple 612 roof pitch. So that's the most common thing you're going to see out there because it's the most affordable thing out there, and we're really good at building affordable housing. But you can also do 3-module combinations. You can do 6-module 2-story combinations. We had a 5-module 2-story out here not too long ago with a really decorated in front, and I think it had two dormers on it. One of our most popular models out at our model center right now is the Avery model. That's a 3-module combination with a 12-12 roof pitch on it, and that's got 2 big shed dormers that are built here at the factory as well. So within our building systems, we're going to either be able to hit your plan and your ideas head on, or we're going to get awfully close. And so again, we are customizing our homes to your taste by using those certain module sizes. As far as roof pitches, again, we're going to stick to certain roof pitches because we can get really, really efficient and effective at building them. We can buy a lot of those roof trusses, and so we can cut down on our costs. And then we know how they're going to go together and work out in the field, so we can be very efficient at the set date and then the finish dates of your home. So our roof pitches, we start at 612. That's the lowest we'll go. So that's a very common residential roof pitch. And then we'll go up to a 912 and a 1212 roof pitch as well. Now, on top of just having a taller roof pitch, you can also accentuate some exterior walls of your home by bumping them out, having turn gables added on top of them. You can do dormers on both the 912 and the 1212, both in like a 6-foot or an 11-foot setup, either with a gable style roof, so kind of a pointy roof that turn gables out at you, or a shed style roof that comes off at a low slope. That could be like a Craftsman or a modern style look as well. So those are our standard and optional roof pitches there. The other thing I want to talk about that's structural that makes us a little bit different, especially than my competition. In any manufacturing setting, most people are going to want to buy as much as they can of one material, and we try to do that to a certain point. But I think where Rochester Homes is different is that we stop when it doesn't make sense anymore. So most people who are in the modular home building business are going to buy all half-inch drywall. They're going to put that on your sidewalls, on your partition walls, so all the interior walls of your home. And then they're also going to put that on your ceiling. The problem with putting it on your ceiling is that if you're building in most Midwestern states, you're building, less than 50-pound roof load, which brings you to a 24-inch on center roof truss spacing. And when you're 24-inch on center roof truss spacing and you apply a half-inch drywall to the bottom of that truss, you're just going to see some wavering. It's not meant to span 24 inches. It's not heavy enough. And then they're going to come in on top of that, and they're really going to over-stomp that product. They've got to put a lot of mud on it to make it look right. And what happens is you walk through my competitors at a model center, and it feels like you're getting hairbrushed. You're hairbrushed by, by the stomp that's on the ceiling. It's just a really heavy texture. So although we'd love to buy as much half-inch as we can, get the best price we can, we do that for your interior walls. But on your ceiling, we go ahead and put a 5/8 inch like you should on the ceiling, and that way it doesn't move as much in that 24-inch on center span, and therefore we can do a really light texture on your ceiling, and we also offer smooth ceilings as well. While talking about that, I will say too that we do bump up to a 16-inch on center roof truss spacing if you would like to go to a 70-pound roof load for, let's say, northern Michigan, or if you're going to be living in our Cape Cod style homes, which are, that 12-12 roof pitch I was talking about can either be attic storage or it can be livable space as well. We like to say go 60-inch on center so that upstairs is just like your floor downstairs. It's really nice and sturdy for you, so we can do that as well. Just going down my list here again, another thing I want to talk about is plumbing standards. So I know everyone kind of questions, what's different about a modular home? What is we know it's this thing. And again, I'll say it's not a thing. Modular is a type of construction. It's not a type of home. So we're using the same components that are in Lowe's and Home Depot and these big box stores. We're using the same components that are at your local hardware store. We're using the same components that your site builder is using. So when it comes to plumbing, we use PEX supply lines, we use PVC drain lines, we use China sinks in the bathroom, stainless steel sinks in the kitchen sink. We use Delta products right now as our standard for all of our faucets throughout the house, and those come with a limited lifetime warranty product. So obviously Delta is a great name that you know about. So again, if you're thinking that because the word modular starts with an M that it's something like a mobile home, or because it comes together in pieces that it's something like a double wide, it's not. They're two totally different codes of building, two totally different types of construction. And, there's not a mobile home type product that you're going to find in our home that you also might find in an RV or in the RV industry or something like that. So I wanted to point that out about the plumbing standards for you. Another thing that I like to talk about when I'm giving a tour here at the factory is how, because we're a bigger builder and we build in a 500-mile radius of Rochester, Indiana, we're oftentimes a little bit more educated in some of the different building codes and some of the more stringent areas than maybe your local is. Maybe you've got a really tough local and all the builders in your area build to the best practices in the world, and that would be great, but that's typically not true. We have a broader depth of code knowledge, though, because we have to work in a lot of different areas. So I like to pick on electrical standards when I talk about this because, for instance, Indiana, where I live, you can run 14 gauge wire on all your general circuitry. You've got to run 12 gauge on your GFI circuits in your kitchen maybe, but mainly 14 gauge is acceptable and it's a common building practice. Illinois, however, has adopted 12 gauge wire on all their general circuitry. So rather than have my production line switch back and forth all the time from 14 gauge to 12 gauge wire, we've just chosen to go ahead and give you, the retail customer, 12 gauge wire in every single one of our homes, whether it's going to Missouri, whether it's going to Tennessee, it's going to Ohio. You all get 12 gauge wire because frankly, it's a little bit easier on my production line and you're getting the benefit of a better code. And I'd say the same thing about roof loads as well. Again, here I'm in northern Indiana, so my local counties around here might be a 30-pound. Most of them are actually a 20-pound, but all the homes we build are to a 50-pound roof load. So we take a better building code that comes from most of Michigan, and we build to that building code within reason of cost. We still keep affordability in mind. Now, we're not forcing you to go to 70-pound roof load because most people don't need that down here in Indiana and Missouri and in Iowa. But we start with an affordable but respectable standard that's going to be good in a lot of different states. So again, you're getting the benefit of a better code than is probably in your local area because we build in a bigger geographical region. So when I'm out on the tour, I always like to point that out when we're walking through our homes. And then I also like to mention, especially as we get to the exterior parts of our home, that we try to use big name brand products. Why? Because again, I want you, when your home's being set, to have your neighbors look at it and say, "Hey, that's Tyvek house wrap. I know, I know that stuff. I know the Delta faucets that he already talked about. I know the Siemens electrical panel that I see on the house. These are common building products with big names, and they also have great warranties on them." Tyvek is one that I use often because it's a big name in the building industry. Most people know what it is, but that one I would say is also more than just a pretty face. It's also got a lot of building science behind it, and of the affordable house wraps, there's a lot of European, high science house wraps that are very, very expensive that are out on the market that are gaining some popularity. Those things are great and grand and wonderful if you're willing to, if you're going to spend to the mountain. But as far as a reasonably priced house wrap still, but really high quality, Tyvek's the only name out there. It's the only stuff that's made to prevent water moisture molecules from getting behind it, but will allow water vapor molecules out. So again, it blocks the solid state water, but it lets any kind of vapor out so that if there's a cut in the building envelope or if water somehow got behind that wrap, it's going to let it breathe out. It's not going to be like a perforated house wrap that's going to let water in potentially because it's perforated, and then two, it's going to trap vapor and cause mold down the road. So I like to talk about that one specifically, not only because it's a big name, but also because it's got a lot of high science behind it. Okay, moving on. While we're talking about science a little bit, let's talk about air sealing. This is a really, really big thing. So a lot of states and a lot of counties are finally catching up to the air sealing conversation. It's not just about insulation, although we've got great insulation. We start with an R21 in our 2x6 exterior walls. That's much better than most of the site builders out there who are using 2x4 exterior walls because they can only get an R13 in. And then in the ceiling, we offer a standard R39 cellulose blown-in insulation, but most of our customers bump up to an R50 because we offer it for a really, really minimal cost. So we're going to get that heavy coat on your home in a really affordable way, and that's great, but it's also super, super important to seal up the home. Let's block any air from moving out, because that conditioned air that you've paid to heat and cool, you don't want it leaving, and you don't want to bring the super hot air that we've had around here in the Indiana summer here lately into your house and be forced to cool it all the time. That's where you're losing a ton of your energy. So a lot of the counties are catching up to this blower door testing. We have other blogs about it. We have other podcasts and resources on our website. So check those out if you're not familiar with with the blower door test. But the bottom line is, we go around and build almost backwards, and I'd love to invite you to a tour again just to see this process so you know what I'm talking about. But we will build our exterior walls first with the drywall on, because again, we don't have to worry about the rain coming in. A site builder would put the OSB on the outside first, and then they'd come in later after the whole home is weather tight and be worried about drywall and be worried about interior finishes. But we can put the drywall on first and leave the exterior exposed. So then our builders will walk around the exterior of the home on our production line, and they'll go through and air seal any gaps that they see. So like specifically, let's talk about putting a recept in a wall. Site built home, your OSB is already on the outside of the home. You put your 2x6, then you put your drywall. You put that recept into the drywall, and I can't access the back of that recept to get and air seal it. So if you've ever lived in a site built home, especially the older ones that maybe didn't have a solid plywood or OSB barrier around the exterior, and you'd go to plug in your vacuum, you felt a breeze coming through, that was because it was so hard to air seal. So our method, again, is we're going to put the drywall on first. 2x6 is already there, and then we're going to walk around the outside of the home, and we're going to take spray foam and we're going to hit all these air protrusions. Okay, so we're going to seal up your home really tight. And before we put that 2x6 wall on, we're putting it on OSB. It's got a single 2x6 bottom plate on it. There's going to be some imperfections, cupped lumber or barked edges, stuff like that. Even though we use a number 2 SPF or better in all our lumber quality. you're just going to have some imperfections in drywall and wood and lumber. So we lay a bead of silicone down before we even put your wall down. So we're actively working to make sure that your building envelope is as tight as possible along our whole entire production line. And so back to the blower door testing, while a lot of site builders are trying to chase ways to get down below 10, to get down below 7, soon it's going to be get down below 5, without changing our building practices in any way in the past 11 years, at least since I've been here, we're testing between 1 and 2, just naturally. So obviously some of our builders are doing some stuff on site to finish the connection between the foundation and the house, but we've got some other videos on that, but that's what we're testing at, and that's because we work so hard at air sealing here in the factory. Which leads me to, we've got a lot of people who come in and they want to talk about the idea of spray foaming the entire cavity of that 2x6 exterior wall, and I would argue to them it's just not worth the money. It's going to cost a lot of money, and you're not going to get a much better result than you're going to get with my air sealing that I already do. So that's something I always like to talk about. Exterior products that I like to talk about would be Owens Corning, True Definition, limited lifetime warranty, duration shingles. Really, really good shingle. It's got algae resistance. It's 130 mile per hour wind rated shingle. It's architectural style. Plenty of colors to choose from. So that's going to be something everybody's going to get on their home as a standard. That's fun colors to pick from and is a really high quality product. The nailing flange is I think like 1.5 inches thick, and shingle warranty is all about hitting the nailing flange. So we've got plenty of room. We don't miss it. The other thing I like to talk about with that shingle is that it's actually got a metal weave throughout that nailing flange. So that's what gives it that really high wind rating, and again the limited lifetime warranty rating on it. Another really important product obviously is going to be windows. So with a lot of our products here at Rochester Homes, we like to start with affordable, and then we will let you upgrade into really high quality, high cost products if you want to do that in your home. So we start with Silverline windows. It's a vinyl window, but it's one of the best out there in the industry. And one of the most important things I can tell you about it is that we use a low E2 argon filled glass with a passive solar glazing. And all that highfalutin word means to you is that it's Energy Star rated in all the areas that we build in, which again is going to be important in taking care of the energy life of your home once you're living in it. The beauty of Silverline to me though too is it's got a lot of flexibility on the sizes. We use casement standard over the kitchen sink so that you don't have to lean over that wet area and lift and get your shirt wet. You just put your hand out and crank. Single hungs are standard throughout the rest of the house. You can option up to a double hung. We come standard with colonial style grids. You can option into no grids. It's a 5-foot tall window on our 8-foot sidewall, but as soon as you get into our 9-foot sidewall packages, we either put a 3060, so a 6-foot tall window, and let a bunch of light into the house, or we can do transoms on that. And we've got a lot of different little awning windows and other transom windows for accents that we offer along with that. So really flexible window as far as styles and sizes. Great warranty on the product. And then the glass is really, really efficient. So if you don't want a vinyl window, you want to go with a wood window, we jump straight to the best name in the industry, in the window industry, which is Andersen, and we go right into their 400 series of products. So with that window, we can get into some of the black windows that everybody's trading in right now, but that is a wood frame, vinyl protection on it on the outside, painted interiors, come standard double hung, all kinds of capabilities there, and what you can get into with the Andersen 400 series window, which is why we really like that product. So other exterior products, I talked about shingles, I talked about windows, and the last thing I want to talk about in this short podcast, this pre-tour video for you, is Therma-Tru exterior doors. So look them up online if you haven't heard the name, but I'd be surprised if you haven't. They're one of the best in the business. We love their doors. And you can really use the door and windows that we offer to upgrade the look of your home without spending all the money you have in the bank. We've got all kinds of really pretty French doors, 15 light doors, full view glass doors. The Therma-Tru, we paint, that's a smooth painted door. It comes in like 15 standard paint colors, so you can really accent your home without spending too much money. Or you can get into, so we have some wood grain doors that you can get stained as well that match some of our most popular cabinet packages. So tons you can do with the exterior door package as well. Your rear door on your utility room will be a standard 6-panel, 20-minute fire-rated door, so we're ready for you to put that garage on already. And then we can also prep your interior switches, and some power for your garage, so you're ready to, you walk in your utility room, you can turn on your garage light from your inside, you can turn your coach light from the front. We'll have all that power prepped. We'll have those conversations with your builder to make sure that all ties in correctly with how they're doing your garage. The last thing I really want to talk about today, I could do a million of these, and maybe we'll do another one that's a little bit more about interior finishes. Today we've mainly talked about structural, and we've talked about exterior finishes, so we'll save interior for another one. Another one of these, the last thing I want to mention, again, just big quality name brands, is that if you choose to do your appliances through us, we use Samsung appliances, and we only offer stainless steel and black stainless steel, which is just kind of like the gold standard in appliances now. So again, big name brand, great warranty program out there, tons of availability. We can go all the way through from an entry level stainless steel all the way to fridges with their family hub system, which if you don't know what that is, Google that. It's basically a smart hub that's in the fridge door that allows you to schedule all your activities with your family, and you can ask about weather and do all this fun stuff as well. So we can go from an entry level all the way up to a really high elegant package with the Samsung stuff as well. And again, that's just kind of the theme at Rochester Homes, is we're gonna start you off affordable. We're gonna offer our products to as many people as we can. We're gonna work hard to provide an affordable housing solution, and then we're gonna allow you to choose. We're gonna allow you to customize. We're gonna allow you to upgrade to make it your home. So that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching in, for listening in. If you're on the podcast channels, and you can find us on Spreaker, you can find us on Apple iTunes, you can find us on the Android marketplace, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find us. Check out our website if you're listening to this and you haven't been on it yet. Again, that's rochesterhomesinc.com. And for the last time, signing off, I'm Alex, and I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks.